Hello, everyone. It's Michael Jaco, and this is Financial Freedom Friday with LifeWave. It's always a pleasure and honor to have all of you here. A lot of you are my members and teammates and so forth in the LifeWave, so I love to see you guys here every week, and so it's lots of fun to share this information. This information is basically being shared by a lot of people all over the world. And I see we have Sally Dutton from New Zealand. So lots of worldwide people that come in, and we enjoy, everyone around the world that comes in. But it's a lot easier in America to make success. So we're trying very hard to get Sally success. So I think it's going to come, Sally. Yes, you're praying, and prayers do get answered at some point. So that's one of the things that we are here to help a lot of you do. And today we're going to talk about one of the tools for success, and that's your products, right? Your products are very easy to share with people and for them to get excited about it. So I was talking to a gentleman today that was in the Navy SEAL teams, and he was injured, and he went through. We've talked about this over and over again. He got stuck in the medical system, and they kept, operating on him and giving him drugs, like really addictive drugs, And I'm not going to mention names here, but uh, and those caused problems. And then he gave him other drugs for those problems, and then he gave him more drugs for those problems. And then they wanted to operate on him some more, and he was like, "No, no more operations," because he already had a ton of them. So this was a very, skilled, active, uh, successful Navy SEAL that had an injury that just took him down and ruined his life. Uh, he was like on the couch for 10 years, he said, in pain. His kids, grew up without him being involved. So, wow. So, we're talking about, getting him some patches so he can like maybe help out and move along with his life. He's been doing a lot of things already. One of those things is that he went outside of the medical system finally because they entrap you in the medical system. As I see Denise kind of shaking her head there, and so, yeah. And once you get trapped in that system, and they keep adding more stuff, it's a downward spiral for most people, unfortunately. So, and a lot of you shaking your heads, what this is. So this is one of the things that we can, tell people about that can help them. But we know that so many people are stubborn in that system, and stubborn when you start to get into that system because you believe in that system, and it's hard for you to break free and be open minded to something else that's could really serve you. We hear from you guys all the time how you almost beg people, look, just try it. It's like God. Uh, but that's one of the things that a lot of people have to overcome and become confident in the system and how beneficial it is. So that's why we have our Miracle Mondays, and that's why we have the Financial Freedom Friday, so we can help people, navigate through the challenges of convincing people that this is quite valuable for them in the long run. So we're going to look at Jen has a product that we're going to share,
Yeah. You ready for it?
and Barbara's going to talk a little bit about it. We were talking earlier. I had this one very psychic woman came up to me at an event that I was doing recently, and she said, "You really need to look at niacin, and it's so beneficial for people." And I was like, and she showed me the book, and then Jen and I were talking, and I guess Barbara Lippincott helped someone that was like, I took some niacin, and she didn't even know she was taking niacin, but she had this hot flash, and her skin became red and so forth. And so basically what that was is in the and one of the products we have, we're going to show you in a second, is niacin, and it helps you flush your capillaries. And I remember doing this as a Navy SEAL. We'd love to do that to get the niacin flush, because it gave you a little bit of energy, little bit of a boost. But you just got this tingling, you got a little red flush, and it's basically moving the capillaries and exciting them and opening them up so blood can flow. And it helped us out when we worked out and so forth. So it I looked at some of the things, the value of niacin, and it's off the charts. It's like amazing. It's like one of those incredible things that David Schmidt did the research on to put in this basically Celergize. All right, so we're going to pull that up here in a second and talk about it, and we'll have Barbara because Barbara is she's amazing with her background and her knowledge and experience. She helped this one woman so like she couldn't understand, which is surprising to me because she'd been through courses which basically gave her some insight on the medical and so forth alternative stuff, but she didn't know about the niacin and the flush that happened. So let's Jen, if you will, pull that
Sure, sure.
thank you.
Couple things. I just posted this. This is what I wrote in a letter to the lady that had her question. She was a European, so and I sort of simplified it instead of her personal. I put it for anybody to be able to read it. So oh, I'm not sharing. I'm looking at it, but I'm not sharing. There we go. So niacin and the niacin flush. This is in the comments section, so you just clip it, and I also put it in the Michael's mastermind. So anyway, you can read. Barbara, you want to comment? I mean, this is your information. It was me quoting you.
Hey, well, I mean, both of you guys are covering it pretty great. I don't know if you need me or not.
No, I like
I
I
mean,
like the expert to say give us some insights. So
talk about
Yeah,
pros. We got two of them sitting right there. Uh, I think I'm going to say this first. When when I am working with someone, a new prospect, for instance, I love it when I can do one-to-one conversation. And I know that's probably what most of you do. I know in Michael's case, he's enrolling so many people, you can't talk to all of them. They just see Celergize and they order it, which is good. But anytime that I have someone make a purchase with me, I want to make sure they know what they're getting because I'm going to ask them questions where we all can, I don't like the word mess up, but where we can mess up is when we're doing all the talking and we're not asking them questions so that we'll know they understand what they are purchasing. I hope that makes sense. So when the new Celergize came out, and I saw it had niacin in it. I went, woohoo. I have other products with niacin in it. But if you're not familiar with it, it's going to be like Michael said, you can have a little experience on it. So as I was telling Jen the other day for this lady, anytime I have someone that has a problem or a complaint or a feeling or whatever it is that they're dealing with that happened to them, I always come back and say, that's fantastic. Oh, wonderful. It's working for you. And they'll go, what? Oh, yeah, you didn't know that you might get this little reddish things come out on your elbows and your ears start itching and all this. No, I didn't know that. Girl, you got blessed, you know? And let them, and then fill them in on why they're so blessed. And it's like, again, that Michael was saying, this niacin is so good, people play with it. I know somebody that will take 500 to 2,000 milligrams of niacin, and in about 30 minutes or so, they are red as a beet and probably wishing somebody would help scratch them. Whew. But what that niacin is doing is simply bringing your blood to the surface. And that's why you're looking red. But the purpose is to detox your body. It has a lot of good things, but it's supposed to detox our bodies. There are some people that do not detox well that I especially work with, and that's people with autoimmune. I'm very careful when I even put glutathione, for example, in their whatever I think they might need to begin with. Normally, I don't even have them use glutathione extra in the beginning because the body is increasing what 200-300% with our X39s. So if you put a lot more detoxing on someone with autoimmune, those toxins cannot get out of their system, and then they get right back into the bloodstream. So the same thing can really happen with niacin. So I let people know if they don't take it or they don't know anything about it, that it's going to be one of their favorite ingredients. Because then I find out more about their challenges. And some people, if they don't say they're a happy pooper, I ask them if they're a happy pooper because I want to know what's going in is going to come out. And patients used to get tickled at me, but that's the only way they would fill me in on everything. But with niacin, it's going to help you release that through avenues of elimination. So they'll love it. And I'll tell them, if not, and I don't say it to everybody, but if somebody looks like they might need to lose a little bit of weight, I will tell them once you get into using niacin, I can't make any kind of claim, but I would like for you to do some research online. There's a lot of places you can learn good things. But your body will store that fat in that niacin in your fat cells. It's going to be there, and you'll notice that you're gaining weight. So sometimes they don't want help with their weight, but I make sure I do, know a little bit about them before I say that. But they love it when they hear that if they can use the niacin, it could help them lose a few pounds. So anyway, I let them know that it's just a little tingling. You know that it's working when you feel that. Now, the first glass I ever drank, I wanted to be like David Schmidt. And I drank the whole thing, not thinking. I drank the whole thing. It was only seconds before I was itching, and I went, "Oh, thank you, Jesus! I forgot it's got niacin in it." But if somebody wants to, if they eat something maybe with a little fat in it or something like that, chances are you're not going to get the niacin flush. But I want the benefits of it. Does that make sense? I would love to get them. But when you know that you get them, don't drink the whole 16 ounces at one time. Drink a little bit of time. So David suggests that you take it on an empty stomach, which I do. But I'll drink about a third of it, and then I set it aside, and then I'll drink a third more or something like that. And it gets into your bloodstream quicker. So all of those supplements that we've been taking, they're all now combined together, and they are absorbed into our system versus having to be digested, go through the digestive tract, which most of you probably know, that if you take a supplement in a tablet, your body's probably only going to absorb about 1/4 of that tablet because it has to go through the digestive process. So that's why a lot of times you take 2, you take 3. It's like medication. You go back and you take it in 4 more hours, and et cetera, et cetera. So we need to treat our good natural supplements like we have gotten from David, the way that we're going to benefit from them most, and that is on an empty stomach. If you cannot do it, take it with your food. You're still going to get benefits, but it's not going to get into the bloodstream as fast. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Any
Wow, I
questions?
learned a lot, Barbara. That was amazing.
Oh, wow.
You're,
Well,
you're
thank you.
amazing.
You guys did great yourself. I'm going to say, I mean, it's just the basics. So,
Yeah, great.
but just have your people, when you're working with someone, instead of talking and just dumping information on them that they're not going to remember, suggest that if they're not familiar with any ingredients, research them, because everybody is not a nutritionist. They're not going to know everything. We don't know everything anyway, but do research. Go to good places, because you will find research that David also has, that when you consume this, that our good old cellular guys, it will increase the activity of your stem cells. And
Nice.
that's why we can now say that word, activity. If you're advertising, if you're talking one-on-one with your friend or whatever, you can say activate, but do not put that in writing. But now legally we can say it increases activity of stem cells. And if you go in and read about that, plus some of the other ingredients that's in cellular drives, you're going to find that statement again. So go searching for it and find the one I'm talking about. You're going to really like it. But today is all about niacin.
Very nice. Yeah, niacin, the real story. Learn about the wonderful healing properties of niacin. So you can do your own research. This is the book that was recommended to me, and then of course, I kind of like blew it off a little bit, and then we get Barbara making the comment about. So it's kind of like God going, "Hello, we want you to like put this out." So it is fantastic. I mean, look at the contents of this book. So it tells you what it is, how to take it, safety, and then reversing arthritis, children's learning
Mhm.
behavior disorders, mental illness, cardiovascular disease, other clinical conditions that respond to niacin, aging. That's nice, right? Respond to niacin. Good. Allergies, alcoholism, and other addictions, Alzheimer's disease, anxiety, cancer, cataracts. I mean, everything. So it looks like respond positively to niacin. So
Mhm.
that's the beauty of David's research. And some of us have been exposed to niacin, but I have never understood. I always knew it was good, but I didn't know it was this good. Uh, so, wow, it's
Hey,
in
try that.
Cellargize.
Try that
Hello.
2000 sometime. You'll know what happened. No, I wouldn't tell anybody to do that. But
Right,
it's great that we have all those list of things that we can research. We're not making any claim. If we make those statements to people, we're making claims.
right.
Can't do that.
Mm-mm.
So get them to go on there, and they're going to say, "Man, I'm getting a bigger bang for my buck. This is priceless." They sell themselves, and we don't have to say anything.
And it complements the patches. That's why
Oh,
he used to tell us you should use this,
100%.
this, 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 and this. And I got all those supplements, and now it's in Cellargize. I was like, oh, fantastic! I'm glad finally.
Those,
And
those,
then
those,
more
those
because it's
patches are going to work better
yeah,
if you can get your system where it can absorb those things that David's been preaching to us, for me, for 5 years.
right.
You've got to have water. You've got to have nutrients. You need this. And I tell people, you better change your stinking thinking, because if you don't believe in it, don't buy it from me. Okay. But if you can just get people to become their own practitioners, and I tell people, after you do your research, if you have any questions, send me a text. I don't want to do the research for them. And you see what I'm saying? So get them to work.
Yeah,
And then they're really into it. And then they want to go share it with other people, because it's easy. They don't have to tell them anything. They can just duplicate what you just did. So
beautiful.
I hope that helps a little bit.
Absolutely, yeah. That and so there's lots of different tools now For me, I mentioned on Monday that I was going to go into a fast. I thought it was just going to be a 1 day fast. Turns out I'm in my fourth day of the fast. So
Oh,
I've done the first time I did a fast was a Vision Quest, American Indian fasting. I did it in the wilderness. There was a team of people that were watching over us and stuff like that. There was like 100 of us, and it was like big meditation, and it was all combined. It was really, really amazing. After that, I think it was like a couple months probably. I did my own wandering 4 day fast where I wandered in the wilderness to different places that invoke my being, my spiritual being to come and fast for a day and into the night. So I've done this fasting. The longest I've done is like 9 days. So I've done many, many, many fastings, and of course I've been a bodybuilder for like a couple decades now, and competitive bodybuilder, champion bodybuilder. So and that takes extreme dedication to your diet, and you're doing without food that normally everybody's eating. You're doing without. But the reason why I'm going to bring this up is because I wanted to see what it will be like to fast with the X2O water as that's all. I've just been doing the water. I've done a couple teas, but that's it. I had the patches, which is great because the patches I think have kept me calm. Because normally when you fast, you get like, I gotta have food, you know. I haven't had really bad cravings. I wear the SP6, which helps your cravings, carnosine, of course, and I've been still working out. Like I went to the gym. Here's my fourth day of fasting. I went to the gym and I crushed it in the gym. So I'm going to eat tonight, which will break my fast. Will be 4 days complete. But I just wanted to bring that up because the water machine, when it comes out, it's going to be another incredible addition for everybody because I've had incredible healing, skin problems that, I had to have cancer cut out, and everything is healing up. All my skin problems are healing up, and I've been dealing with like quarter of a century. So all of that is healing right up. Of course, I got a little extra from Jen's product. I'm not going to go too deep into that, but Skin Wisdom. But so I use that as well. But the patches, the water, and Celergize. So if you just do X39, you need to have that. Now I've been on X39, X49. I've been on all the patches really for over 3 years now. So I'm a Navy SEAL, former Navy SEAL, CIA, and my credibility is everything to me. So would you think this is a selling point for you? You should have the same idea as well when you talk about the product. You have been on this product for so much time, and you have discovered that this is something that is extremely valuable to you. After having been, like I talk about, I could show you a plaque. I was just looking at one of my Navy SEAL plaques, and they were like, it was my last command. So I'm in my 40s, and I'm leading the physical training of the whole command at 40 over 40 years old, and I'm crushing everybody. And they're the thing they put on my plaque was like, "Thanks for the Jake PTs." So you you go through life and you want to have these amazing experiences, but you have to be healthy to have them. And if you're not healthy, you're gonna be like that unfortunate SEAL that got injured that was on the couch for 10 years while his family just moved on with life and he didn't get to experience it, kids and all that kind of stuff. So it is one of those things that you search for, hopefully, and you're not stubborn. You're not locked into a system that basically wants to suck your money and your vitality away from you, right? So now, not to say that all of that system is bad. Of course, there's good within that system. Dr. Annabelle, she's in here some. I don't know if she's in here. I don't see her, but she's obviously there. She is raising her hand. Thank you. I didn't see you. Right. And then of course Denise, Barbara Lippincott here, all of you that have Roxanne have been in the medical community and have contributed. See Anita there. have contributed a lot of your time, energy, devotion to help people, this is far more effective on many levels, as all of us can, attest. It's incredible.
Mhm.
So having that as your background and having, your experiences with it, you share those experiences, and some people are going to be hard-headed, you know. Uh, like we came into the Naval SEAL community. David Schmidt wanted to give free product, millions, right, to the Navy SEAL community because that's where he got to start. And so Connie and I, we came in. Of course, David Schmidt's in the background. We're like, the owner of LifeWave wants to contribute, and so we talked to the head people that were in the SEAL community. And of course, I've been in the SEAL community, so I have the background. I have the SEAL community knows me and respects me. So I'm coming in with that, and we're coming in with a product that started in the SEAL teams and was highly revered until Obama came in and said, no, you can't use it because it hasn't been approved by the FDA. So they took it away from those guys. So, then David's like, okay, well, I'll take it to the world. And so the world has it now. But I bet less than 1% of the world has it now. And that's sad to me because it's so effective, right? So this so frustrating after talking to the SEAL today, former SEAL. So we went and told them about this product, and they were like, "Oh my God, this is incredible! You're going, oh, we can't wait to get it to the guys." And the medical establishment within the SEAL community denied it.
Mhm.
Unbelievable.
Sad, sad.
So we have to work around the system.
Can I say something, David, again?
Sure.
There, I've met, I've worked with a lot of doctors. I'm blessed to have a lot of doctor friends too.
Mhm.
Um, they love natural. I just started working with an amazing specialist. It's a neurologist. I wanted to go further than what I had learned, and especially from my neurologist. And I was in awe of him because he is so open to natural.
Mm.
He loved everything I was doing. The sad thing is, insurance will not cover them for liability
Mm.
of suggesting a patch. They're not going to do it. I don't know. Jen may not remember this. It's been so many years ago when I was talking to her hubby, Dr. Bill. He made a comment, and I've never forgotten it. He may not even recall it. But he said that if a patient came in to see him prior to having surgery, because he's a fantastic surgeon, and they said to him, I feel like I'm coming down with a cold. Will it be okay if I take some vitamin C? He said, I couldn't tell that person to take the vitamin C because I'm not covered for vitamin C. I'm covered for a drug. So I have to tell her I can't give you that advice. But I got tickled at him because he said, I'll excuse myself and go back. They had a kitchen area back where his office was that I was in. And he said, I'll go take me some vitamin C because I don't want to catch her cold. But I can't tell her to take the vitamin C.
Ah.
Now, and then I've learned recently, my daughter-in-law is an ER nurse, very intelligent. And she called me for an issue that she's having similar to mine. And I'm going to tell you guys, B vitamins are very important. If you're not familiar with the water soluble B vitamins. That's something else you want to look into. I take them on an empty stomach, but your niacin is a vitamin B3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's not a big deal. It's there. But she said, my doctor suggested that I take, can I say a nutrient? Is that okay? Can I get by with saying that the doctor said to take alpha lipoic acid? If not, I won't go any further. But I will tell you that he was doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't teach anybody I know to do that because a lot of times, and I think this happens with this, if the doctor says, yes, I'm okay with that one, it means there's some form of chemical that could be mixed in with that product. I'm not saying it was, but do you understand that? It could be. And I said, well, I want to send you to the health food store, but this time I want you to get a different lipoic acid. And I told her which one it was. And I said, it's all natural. I didn't know that. Why didn't he tell me that? I said, he can't tell you that. He's not going to tell you that. And I don't blame him. And I maybe have been taught wrong, but that's what I've been taught ever since I've been in the field. And doctors are just simply amazing. They're life-saving. We can't do without them, but they care. But sometimes they are limited on how much they can care for you as a patient. And I just honor every one of them. I do. I was just blessed to meet this one the other day, and I said, man, I wish I had you years ago, you know. He said, no, we couldn't say anything then either. So, you know, so they do want to help us. So honor them. And then you go and, like I say, you do your own studying. You get help from people, you know, like me and oh, I see Denise up there like her. She's a super pro. Get some advice from people like that. And then you go and you make your own decisions from what you have learned for yourself. And I think you might start feeling better. It's given me a new life over all these years that, as you know, I'm still here. Woo, I'm telling you, it's been a long journey,
Wow.
but don't ever give up. Don't ever give up. You'll always keep learning something new. Right, Denise? I got your hands up. I'm taking over.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's my understanding. I've talked to many people in the medical field that, and Annabelle, Dr. Annabelle can probably attest to this. There is very little, if any, nutritional education getting your medical license. So, I mean, they literally don't teach on it. So not only are they can't really advise you because they don't have any training unless they've done some on their own. But then also their medical insurance doesn't cover them giving advice about certain nutritional therapies that aren't basically considered medical therapies, right, Dr. Annabelle?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. You're right. I remember a month of nutrition
Wow.
and the rest of it was big pharma.
How
It was
about how
just,
about Dr. Amy? Do you want to contribute?
Yeah, I feel like, can you hear me okay?
Yep, good.
Yeah. I felt like even the approach of learning about like disease states themselves, almost at least my recollection was many times it was through the lens of first starting how you treat it with what drug. So even that was backwards. And yeah, I didn't get a whole lot of nutrition. I would say probably, yeah, like 3 or 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So there's really no preventative or alternative treatment a lot of times for problems. And like we talked about, there's a vicious cycle that a lot of people get in once they start to use the drugs themselves. Like the gentleman I was talking to today, he had all these problems, and they were like operating on like a lot, and then they put him on codeine, and that was like, oh, yeah, everybody's shaking their heads like, oh, when he told me that, I was like, oh my God, dude. So it was really a downward spiral then. So it was bad, but it got a lot worse and just kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse. So um, now I know a lot of you have kind of like shuffled back a little bit from the medical community. I know Roxanne, you have, and you're independent, right? Now, nurse, is that right?
Yes, sorry, there was a thing in front of I couldn't unmute myself. Yes, I'm, I guess you would say subcontracted,
Yeah, yeah.
actually
Perfect.
by the patient to stay with them after their surgery. And, which is, it's nice because it's one-on-one and, we can talk personally and not have to worry about, well, I'm on your show now, who's listening, right?
Yeah.
So, um,
The hospital
but
staff, getting involved. Oh, you can't promote that.
exactly, exactly. So, and they might hear, because I let them know I have a Zoom meeting tonight with my team, and we're like the best team in the world. So, they're like, oh yeah, listen to your show, and they're in the bed because they're on strict bed rest.
Yeah.
And so they,
Wow.
they can't get out of bed after the surgery that they just had.
Yeah.
And they hear, the content of the Zoom, and they're like, what is that? That's interesting. So sometimes, I mean, not all the time, but
Mhm.
there is interest, here and there. So,
Very good.
and yeah, sorry, I try not to like, I don't like jump on the bed with them or whatever, say, you better order this or else,
Oh
that's,
yeah, of course.
I mean, they're still under the influence of anesthesia. So, but I'm like, when you come out of it, even when you sober up more, we can talk. Maybe tomorrow in the morning we can talk or whatever. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
So,
Very good.
yeah.
So
Hey,
Nina,
Michael,
uh-huh.
I don't want people to feel like I am, have pros and cons on medications. If I hadn't come off a medication, I know I wouldn't be here today by the grace of God. But there are times I tell people when I used to see patients all the time, I'd say, if you have an emergency, do not call me. You go to the ER. Those doctors are miracle workers. They can save your life. You
Absolutely.
let them put anything in you they need to, and then you get out of there. And when you feel like it, you come back and make an appointment here. Okay? Because they can be godsends to so many people. And there's sometimes temporarily they may need that medication. But if they've been blessed to have a friend who is a LifeWave friend of theirs,
Yep.
we're going to be there to support them, to help them get back on track.
Very good.
So I think we all need, nobody needs to believe it, but we need to respect that because I'm going to tell you, they can save your life.
Yep, absolutely. And we've heard from a gentleman that has a son that was in a really brutal car accident, and he had a lot of lung issues and clotting, and they couldn't operate on him. So they asked the doctor, "Can we use this LifeWave?" And they talked about it, and he was like, "Yeah, I don't see any problem with it. I mean, probably going to die anyway, so go give it a shot." So they used the Eon and they put it on around his chest, and the blood clotting cleared up. Now that's not always you're not always going to have that option. There's a lot of um, hospital groups that, because like we talked about insurance issues, they're not going to go that route, right? So what? But occasionally it can. Some people have talked about how they just like put it on the clothing, like underneath the gown or something, and that works miracles. I think Denise, you've talked about how your daughter was in labor, having problems with labor, and you came in. You just had it on yourself and got close to her, and that helped her through the labor.
Well,
So,
she actually was wearing the X39. So
oh,
far, I've not had any objections from anybody that's had to have any kind of medical and needed it. Anytime my kids, Katie, with her accident, she's got them on. She goes to the doctor. They say nothing. We have patients that we send to the dentist. They're all patched up. My dentist is using them, and so is his family. And I haven't had any objections, because if they don't understand the technology, they don't have time for it. It looks like a Band-Aid to them. Why even ask them? Hello?
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't ask them what you had for breakfast. I mean, come on. They don't have to know everything. And most of the time they don't even ask. But if it is obvious, if it's on the face or something, you say, yeah, it's a phototherapy patch. I've just, in other words, everybody we've had to seek any kind of, going to get their stitches out or whatever. No doctors or nurses have ever objected to them having them on. So I suppose in a critical situation where there's, surgery and stuff, but even then I can't even see them really saying, oh, well, you have to take that off. But it could have, it could, but we haven't had that experience. So that's great.
Yeah. I mean,
Michael?
you're in an excellent position because you're not attached to any
Right.
medical facility. You guys are separate. So you're separate.
Correct.
People understand that and they come to you for help, and you've helped a lot of people.
A lot.
You've saved a lot of lives, and that's because you do alternative type of stuff along with LifeWave. So that's
yes.
great. Roxanne.
Wait,
Jen,
we
you
lost.
want to add something real quick?
We lost Anita. She's been waiting a long time.
Oh, she wanted to talk?
She did, and it dropped off. Anita, you had a question? You had your hand up for a long time. There you are. Speak up.
Oh dear God. Oh, funny. No, I took myself out because I was chugging water. I was going to comment on in the chat. It said can't patent nature is why Big Pharma doesn't do that. It's called a nutraceutical, and it's the FDA's category for a food with medicinal value that's proven. And I was with a company that had a 20-year nutraceutical patent as opposed to a pharmaceutical patent of 7 years. So I was very emboldened with that product that I saved and still save lives with 30 years later.
Wow.
Okay. I could have been fired in multiple situations where I went in and treated mi familia, mi hermanas, to go in there and do what I had to do quietly. And it can be done, and teach other people how to treat quietly with whatever miracle you found. So this for me is super cool. As a nurse of 45 years, I have found something now that I can slip on anywhere, anytime, and do the same thing, knowing that I have the confidence to know the product well enough to know what to use for what, and explain it honestly about receptivity. Each person is very different with anything, but across the board, more people need to know that they don't get enough water or enough rest or enough sunshine and feet on the ground, grounding. It's huge. And so you teach them basics, and then you come in with something like these patches, like I've been doing all my career with all kinds of miracles. For me, it's legacy. It's creating a legacy. Each one of the people here that knows. It's just like knowing about God or love or anything else that's critical to life. For me, it can't get any better than this, truly. So I'm psyched. I'm psyched to become a brand partner 1 week after convention.
Nice.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby. Good job. Thanks. Roxanne.
Well, I'm excited for you, Anita, to become a brand with us. I was going to share, I put the patch on my younger son, and he'll wear the X39 on the back of his neck, and I put the X49 on his shirt because sometimes the adhesive bothers him. So he wears the patch on the front of his shirt, like on his chest. I'm like, look, you look like Iron Man, and you're getting smarter by the second. He's like, awesome. So so that's what I do with him, and so he's open and he's receptive to it, which I can't ask for anything more than that.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah. So
So now we got all the docs and we've had nurses. Thank you all. Now when we had the COVID scamdemic come out, I was basically talking on YouTube. I became extremely huge YouTube channel by talking about that and things you could do that to overcome that natural stuff. And I was taken down off of YouTube, and I've been off of YouTube for a long time now. I'm back. So since I've been back, to give you an idea of how responsive the audience is, because the audience on Rumble has been great, but they're a fraction, and you get a fraction of the exposure you do on YouTube. So when I share information, I can see a massive change, not massive, but a significant change in my in the people that are responding. Right? There's more people signing up. There's more people getting involved. So, and this is building. So I'm just in the beginning stages rebuilding my YouTube channel. So you can see that the reception that people have, because it's a bigger audience now, that haven't been exposed to me for a while. They're very open to this. Now the numbers that watch these videos is not as much as Rumble, because I was with the Rumble audience for like 3 years. And the YouTube audience was gone for 3 years. So now that I'm coming back into YouTube, my my numbers, my signups, and so forth, and of course I share people among my team because I have a lot of people that are coming in. I want to support my team. So Roxanne and Jen, we're moving people around to where we know they'll be best served by the team. So like we were talking about in the beginning with Barbara, she does a lot of one-on-one. That's not something that I can do. I bring them in, and then we like push them out so they can get the people that can serve them the best. So if you're not serving your people, if you're just signing people up and just letting them go, that's not going to be a great service. So that's why I use a very good part of my income to have people that help me, like Jen and Roxanne, and then we have another lady that does the emails. So as you grow your business, if you get too big or bigger to the point where you're not able to give that one-on-one service, start farming them out, and then maybe you need to hire some other people to help you over time. And it could be people from your group. I mean, Jen signed me up, and Jen's like, I want to help you grow big. I was like, so that's helping her, of course, and that's helping me. And Roxanne, we've done some stuff together before, and it was like, why don't you join me on this? And she's boom, she blew up. So, you need to find other people, maybe within your group or somebody that has experience or something, as you grow your business bigger and bigger and bigger, to actually start to take some of the income you're getting and help your business grow, and do the best and be the best your business can be. And that's part of it. So definitely the one-on-one, once you reach a point where that's not possible, then, you need to bring some people in. Like every business does that. I have half a dozen people that work with me in different aspects. So you need to keep that in the back of your mind. So Dr. Kathy Wan.
Oh, lots of good. Well, hold on a second here. Lots of good information, Michael. But I meet a lot of people who don't want to take pharmaceuticals. So they're out there. You just need to go ahead and just put yourself in a position to meet them. And I have met a couple of people who've had some serious, health issues. And unfortunately, their physicians don't want them to use this technology. And you're going to have that sometimes, but you just got to keep moving, because, there are so many people out there that need this technology and are looking. So it's just, we just need to share, and they're out there. So don't worry about it. People are out there. Just got to keep moving. You'll find them. You will.
Absolutely. And yeah, you've been incredibly consistent. You've been a director, the most consistent, I think, in my business of anyone. Some people fall off and they come back, but you have been very, very consistent. And that's because I think you do a lot of that one-on-one. I know everyone does that to a great extent. But the more you do that, the more people, get involved, and you start to find those people within your organization that are going to that want to build, right? You share it first, and then eventually you build from all the sharing. So there's people that you're sharing with, they're like, I want to do this too. Or they're like, they just start sharing, and they're like, I got all these people that want to use a product. And so you help them. Right, Dr.
You know
Catherine?
what happens? This is a business of duplication. So when I first got into network marketing, that was exactly how the person shared with us, a one-on-one. So it's just weird because that's all I've done. Could I have done home meetings? Well, I probably could have, but I didn't. I wasn't introduced to it in that way. So again, here I am duplicating what I was originally, how I originally came into the business with it, which is a one-on-one. And I just said, that's just what I've been doing. But yeah, it's fun, and you have to have a passion, get a big dream, because that'll keep you moving. It will.
Yeah. So the numbers of people that you share with, it's just a matter of how many people you share with. And the more people you share this information with, the better. And everyone has their own way of doing that. Like Roxanne was talking about, she's got the show playing in the background. They're like, what's that? And they're like, oh, that could help you if you really were interested. So you'll heal faster and you won't have as much pain. It's like, so a great opening line, and everyone has their own opening line. People look at you like, you look so much better. You have so much light coming from you now. What are you doing? It's like, and I'm using these patches, and they're like less than $100 a day, or $100 a week or month rather. You can have like a healing that is, med bed level technology. And they're like, what? How does that work? And then you explain it as simply as you can, or maybe you give them the video because you don't quite understand it yet, or that's sometimes a better way to share with people. For me, that's the way Jen shared with me. There was no video. There was like this article where David Schmidt was talking about how he'd shared with the Navy SEALs, and I was like, I'm going to use that. Right? I've heard about that. So, but for me, I'd heard about it. So it can be over time that you're, hearing about this stuff. And then, of course, I would say in my younger days, I didn't know about stem cells. But as I got older, I started to learn about the stem cell technology, and how your body over time stops, your stem cells start to shut down. So once I understood that, and I was like, I got to get some stem cells going on. I got the injections. That was good. But then I heard about the patches after that, and I was like, well, dang, I just put a patch on, and that's going to do it. So that's what happened with me. So you're going to overcome a lot of things that are problems in your life, which I've done, and have it's more and more things. There's probably things that would have been a problem in my life that would have escalated to a worse and worse level. Like my skin, was like being out in the sun for, pretty much my whole life. And in the Middle East, which is like the most intense, and Africa and all these other places. Yeah, you can wear a hat. Yeah, you can wear sunscreen, but still, I'm pale skinned, so eventually it's going to get to you. And that's what it did for me. So, fortunately, the water machine has been a major contributor. The patches were great. The water machine took it the next level. But I did have surgery, so I was really concerned that it was reaching a level where it was escalating very quickly. I've been able to treat it over a couple of decades, and then it started escalating. So then the water machine came along, and it completely is reversing everything very rapidly. So that's the technology that you have available to you. Of course, not everybody has a water machine yet, but you will. It will come, right? And just like the X39, X39 wasn't there at first. It was the, Ice Wave and Energy Patch. And then eventually Eon and so forth. Barbara could probably tell us a lot more. But, more and more things have been coming over time. So it's been fantastic. Jen.
Okay, hi. Fred has something to announce. Fred, where are you? You got to tell Michael how close you are, the whole group.
We actually made it over the top today, and thanks. And so we got the 80 points for one trip to the Bahamas.
Woo!
But now we're kind of at a conundrum. I was going to ask a question also because if we don't get up to the 105, I would like to go with my wife, but I wasn't sure if if that would be possible, like to purchase the other ticket.
Yeah, I think it
So I was
is.
just
I think it
curious.
is. Because you'll be sharing the same cabin. You just may have to pay extra for her to go. So I would be almost positive.
They always have in the past.
Yeah, yeah. So keep striving for it. But if you don't get there, I'm pretty sure that she would be able to, because you guys are going to share the same cabin. She'll be able to buy
Okay,
in hard.
that's a very positive answer.
Anita.
Hi. So I have had surgery on my ankle a few years ago, and it always I have a plate and 8 screws in there, and it always seems to give me a little bit of trouble. And it's just not normal, like you have your normal bone and that's it. No, what God gave you. So no, you got some metal in your system. And so the other day I was really in consternation because it's all jacked up. It's starting to affect my foot and my leg and everything. Even though I do Pilates and all kinds of things, I'm 68 years old and I'm an artist. And what do I know about these things? But anyways, what I wanted to share is I thought, well, heck, why don't I put a patch down there and see what happens? And so I put the Aeon down there on the scar, and I would say, lo and behold, it's starting to improve. So the foot problem is going away. The swelling is going down. It's feeling a lot better. I can walk better and everything. And I have to say, I called the orthopedic doctor's office the other day, or rather, I tried to 10 times. And you have to go through this system of, well, if you don't have this pain or that system or blah, blah, we can't get you in and da, 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 da. And I'm like, all I want is an appointment, well, but you have to jump through this loop and that loop and the other loop. And I'm like, I think the best thing we can do for ourselves these days is to take care of ourselves as much as we can ourselves with these natural products. And I'm all for it. I mean, my mother is 98 years old and has never taken any medication in her life. So anyways.
Wow.
My soapbox.
Very good. Very good, Anita. So being experimental with those patches, listening to your intuition and putting it where you think it needs to go. Because you can talk to the patches. They'll tell you, right? They have consciousness, I believe. So arachnoiditis. All right, arachnoiditis is a chronic inflammatory condition that affects the arachnoid matter, a membrane that covers the brain and spinal cord. So I have someone that became a friend. I met him at a conference where I was speaking. He just said, I just had to meet you, and watched you for a long time. And then he was like sweating. He was anxious. I was like, what's going on? He says, I have this arachnoiditis and all these problems, and they gave me drugs, and then they took away the drugs, and I don't have as much as I used to have, and they keep me with just a bare minimum. So people that have pain, a lot of times they'll start to restrict their pain medication, and this is a real problem across the United States, where people are, they have some kind of issue. I guess he hurt his back or something, and they came in and they wanted to, like, when women have babies, they come in and like give you the what's that injection, Roxanne? Where they give you the injection for
The epidural.
epidural. Thank you.
Yeah, doesn't work.
So it works a lot of times, when sometimes they don't do it right, and they cause arachnoiditis, which is extremely painful, and you're left with it for the rest of your life. All right. So that happened to him. They went into, like, give him an epidural for his pain, and they caused arachnoiditis because they injected him wrong in the wrong spot. That broke the spinal cord or something. So he was telling me about this. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. So he wasn't getting upset. Normally, I'm in bed all day. And he said, but I wanted to meet you. And I was like, wow, that's great. So over time, he's hearing that I do this, and he's done some shows with me. But when he does a show, he doesn't use his name and is blanked out, because he's basically exposing. We had some doctors on that talked about how they're taking away the pain medication from people over time, because, like, no, you can't have that much, it's too much. And they're like they need it, to, like, continue. So he was still able to be functional. He was a security guard in Las Vegas, and because they started taking away his medications, he turned into pretty much an invalid. Right. So we started him on the patches probably a couple of years ago now. And he started coming to the events, and he was hanging out at the events, and he was, like, not sweating, talking, hanging out with everybody, having a great time. So he can't come out and talk about it, because his doctor, if they found out that he was doing something else, would take away his medication that he still needs, but he's slowly weaning himself off. But this is the kind of problem that we have, unfortunately, in our medical system. And I know a lot of, thank God we have great people here, that have a medical background. You're able to, help a lot of people out there that have issues. So that's why I just want to salute you guys for, doing that. So it's very much needed. All right. So we're a little bit over the time, but that's okay. So great show today. Thanks to everyone that shared. It's been amazing. A lot of you guys have incredible background in the medical community, and I appreciate you coming forward. A lot of people won't do that, right? But you guys are brave. So good job. All right. Lots of love. We'll see you guys next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye,
Thank
everybody.
you, Michael.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye,
Sam.
Michael. Bye, everybody.
Night,
Thank you,
everybody.
Barbara.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you
God
for all
bless
that
you all.
excellent
Night.
info. Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Hey,
Michael.
Brad. Get home
Bye.
safe.
Night, everybody.
Hola.
Bye.
Michael.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Brad.